अस्सलाम वालेकुम माय यूट्यूब फैमिली। उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आप लोग यहाँ पे बिल्कुल ठीक होंगे। अल्लाह ताला के फजल करम से मैं भी यहाँ पे बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ। तो आज जो है मैं आप लोगों से शेयर करने वाली हूँ सिनोनिम्स। तो वीडियो शुरू करने से पहले मैं आप लोगों से ये गुजारिश करूँगी कि मेरा चैनल सब्सक्राइब कर दें और लाइक कमेंट शेयर करना मत भूलिए। और अभी चलते हैं अपनी वीडियो की तरफ। तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे एक सिनोनिम की बहुत सारी मीनिंग्स दी गई हैं, जिन मीनिंग से आप सिनोनिम को एग्जैक्टली अपने एमसीक्यूज में करेक्ट आंसर को ढूंढ सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे सबसे पहले जो वर्ड दिया गया है वो है अमेजिंग। तो मीनिंग अगर इनकी देखी जाए तो यहाँ पे इनक्रेडिबल है, फैंटास्टिक है, फेबुलस है और एस्टोनिशिंग है और एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी है। सेकेंड वर्ड इज आंसर। तो इसके जो सिनोनिम है वो रेस्पॉन्ड होगा। वन जो सिनोनिम है जो टेस्ट में ज़्यादातर रिपीटेड होते हैं वो है ऑफुल। इसकी जो सिनोनिम है वो है टेरिबल, एबोमिनेबल और डेडफुल। नंबर 4 है बैड, जिसकी एविल, स्पॉइल्ड, imperfect, infamous or dismal. Next is beautiful, and which is similar to gorgeous, ravishing, dazzling sight and stunning. Number next is begin. Begin similar meaning is initiate. Next meaning is commence and inaugurate. Number next is big, and similar meaning is huge, enormous, gigantic, humongous and substantial. And break similar meaning is repurge, fracture, shatter. And number next is clam, similar meaning is serene, breeze, tranquil. And next is come, approach, arrive, cool, chilly, foresty, icy, cut, chop, slash and slit. Next is dangerous, hazardous, risky, precarious. And decide, the similar meaning is determine, settle. And next is definite, certain, positive, obvious. Next is delicious, and delicious same meaning is savory, titbit, delectable. Next is describe, portray and characterize. Next is destroy, the similar meaning is demolish, slay, run, razz. And next is difference, and the similar meaning is disagreement, inequality and dissimilarity. Next is dull, which is boring, uninteresting, monotonous, humdrum, dreary. Number next is end, terminate, conclude and cessation. Number next is explain, and which is elaborate, interpret. Number next is fall, which means drop, descend and topple. Famous, well known, renewed, prominent, illustrate. Number next is fast, which means stout, corpulent, chubby, bulky. Number next is funny, which means amusing, harmonious and droll. Now number next is get, which means acquire, obtain, secure, pursue and gather. Number next is good, which means excellent, fine, wonderful, superior, precious, superb, splendid, genuine, sterling, top notch. Number next is great, which means worthy, distinguished, grand, considerable, mighty. And happy, which means pleased, delight, elated, joyful, lustic, jubilant and juanty. Number next is had, which means despair, loathe, abhor and abominate. Number next is have, which means possess, own, acquire. Help, which means aid, assist, support, encourage, relief. Number next is hide, which means conceal, cover, mask, veil. And now next is idea, thought, concept, nation. Number next is important, which means necessary, vital, critical, indispensable, valuable, essential and famous. Number next is interesting, which means fascinating, engaging, spirited, intriguing, gripping and captivating. Now number next is little, which means tiny, diminutive, exiguous, dinky and cramped. Number next is look, gaze, glance, peek, glimpse, stare, leer. And number next is love, which means like, admire, fancy, care for, adore. And number next is make, which means create, originate and invent, construct, manufacture, compose. Number next is move, which means plod, creep, crawl, drag, toddle, shuffle, trot, lumber. Number next is neat, which means orderly, tidy, trim, natty, smart, elegant. Number next is new, which means unique, modern, current, recent. And number next is old, feeble, ancient, aged, veteran, mature, primitive, and still. Number next is place, which means draw, map, diagram, procedure, method, and blueprint. Number next is show, which means display, exhibit, indicate, reveal, and demonstrate. Number next is tell, which means disclose, reveal, expose, native, inform, divulge. Number next is use, which means employ, utilize, exhaust, spend. And number next is wrong, which means incorrect, inaccurate, mistaken, erroneous, improper, unsuitable. Now number next is youngster, which means youth and teenager. Number next is adults, which means grow up. Number next is kids, which means offspring and dwellings, and important, which means imperative, paramount. Tree, which means nation. Traveling, which means commuting. Difficulty, adversity, tribulation, and predicament. Number next is involve, which means indulge. Number next is poor, which means impoverished. Destitute, poverty, deprived, stricken economically. Number next is tourist, which means holiday makers, sightseers. Number next is development, which means advancement, progression. Number next is harmful, which means detrimental, deleterious, pernicious. Number next is society, which means community. Number next is causes, which means contributing factors, causative factors. Number next is remedial, which means solutions, measures, corrective actions, countermeasures. Number next is improve, which means ameliorate. Number next is to make worse, aggravative. Number next is thing, which is opine, assert, retcon, deem. And number next is some, which means certain and few. Number next is views, which means perspective. Number next is people, which means folks, masses. Number next is liking, which means have predilections, predispositions. Number next is lilac, which means admire, cherish, adore. Number next is enjoy, which means relish, enjoyment and assortment. Number next is massive, which means large. Number next is esteem, which means arise. Completely means it entire, absolutely, all together, or certainly. Number next is solve, which means mitigate, alleviate, resolve, ameliorate. Number next is important, which means significant, essential, necessary, crucial, and pivotal. Number next is start, which means begin, embark, initiate. Number next is before, which means prior to. Number next is definitely, which means certainly, undoubtedly. And next is require, which means entire, necessitate. Number next is give, which means invest, devote. Number next is basically, which means rudimentary and fundamental. Number next is need, which means requirements, recesses, tire. Number next is impact, which means influence. Number next is less, which means scarce, scant. Number next is many, which means numerous, several, and multifarious. Number next is use, which means utilize. Number next is so, which means thus, therefore, and consequently. Number next is problem, which means issue and threat. Number next is hard, which is same to challenging, intricate, difficult. So I hope you like the video. Please like, comment, share, and never forget to subscribe my channel. And we will see next video, inshallah. So take care. Allah Hafiz.